For more on last night's results, we're joined by Jim Farney. Jim is the Regina Director and an Associate Professor at the Johnson Shoyama Graduate School of Public Policy. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me on.
I know a lot of people will say, what is different? But compared to 2019, there are some changes. What stood out to you the most?
In the major parties, I don't think there was a lot of change. You know, we saw a couple of cabinet ministers defeated. The Liberals pick up a couple of seats in Alberta. Top line, those are almost exactly the same. I think it does say something about the state and play in Canada that the Greens kind of collapsed last night, and the PPC, is sitting at 5.5% or so. That says something about how dissatisfied people are and where they're taking that dissatisfaction.
All right, let's talk about tone. When Saskatchewan swept blue in 2019, Justin Trudeau promised to come out west to hear voter concerns after Ralph Goodale was defeated. This go round, he has openly been talking about his disappointment with the pandemic response in Alberta and Saskatchewan. How does that play out going forward?
I think in some ways that are going to be worth keeping an eye on. The 2019 election really played up Western alienation and regionalism, and we talked a lot about it and got the result we did, right? The kind of blue wave, if you will. This time it was a less salient feature, I think. We didn't see the Conservatives playing up Western alienation as much. I'd say even the People's Party played up alienation in general, not specifically regional alienation. But then we get this back and forth between the federal government and the provinces. Mo's note on the federal election this morning was not exactly congratulatory. That makes it look like we should expect some sparring, and that it's going to be centered around the response to COVID, which we've also kept, reasonably depoliticized so far.
Does that sparring make people tune out of politics, though? We've had a lot of sparring the last 2 years.
I don't think it makes people tune out. There is the danger that it polarizes them, that it stops them from hearing what the national government or the provincial government, as the case may be, is trying to argue for. And that would be really unfortunate. This is, this type of crisis is where the provinces and the feds need to respect each other's jurisdictions but cooperate. And if it gets too back and forthy, that listening gets hard to do.
What is going on with the PPC? Are they playing spoiler, or are they going to continue to grow into a legitimate party?
There's an element of spoiler to it. The thing that's missing for them right now compared to other successful regional parties, so Reform would be the one everybody remembers. You could go back to Social Credit in the 50s and 60s, or the farmers' parties in the 20s if you wanted to, is in our electoral system you need a kind of regional basis of support to break through. It's not great to win 5 or 6% or even 8 or 10% spread across the country. There's got to be a regional focus where you pick some up. They're stronger a little bit in Saskatchewan, but not nearly enough to make that type of breakthrough here or in Alberta. And unless you can get to that point where you've got seats in the House of Commons, the track record of this type of party is some success, some voicing of people's alienation, and then a kind of fading away as you don't make that breakthrough.
All right. Thanks so much for this, Jim. Very interesting.
Thanks, Sam.